So come to stand at the front of your mat. Imagine your feet as rectangles. So you have 2 corners at the front and 2 corners in your heels, and ground down through all 4 corners. And then imagine as if you're pulling the corner on your little toe towards the corner on the outer edge of your heel, and the corner on your big toe towards the inner edge of your heel to fully activate your arches. Open your palms towards the front of the room. Allow your collarbones to broaden and be wide. And feel a full activation and lifting from the bottom of your feet all the way to the crown of your head. Soften your eyes, relax your face, mountain pose. Take a slight bend in your knees, and then lift your right leg and take a step towards the back of your mat. Pivot your right foot so that your toes are facing the long edge of your mat. Extend your arms, pulling them away from one another at shoulder height, palms facing down. Take a bend in your front knee so that your knee is directly over top of your ankle, but not going over your ankle. Warrior 2. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And on your exhale, reaching forward with your left arm, bring your left elbow down to meet your left leg. Windmill your right arm so that your bicep is alongside your ear, and plug your arm down into your shoulder socket so that your shoulder doesn't come up to hug your ear. Now imagine that you're creating one long line from the tips of your fingers all the way down to the outer edge of your straight-legged foot. Side angle. Inhale, root down through your feet, bring yourself back up into Warrior 2. Straighten your front leg. Take a half step in to shorten your stance, and then turn your right foot at a 45-degree angle. Inhale, again, lengthen all the way up through your feet to your spine. And on your exhale, reach your left hand towards the front of the room as you pull your right hip towards the back of the room. And on your exhale, you can bring your hand down to your shin, the ground, or a block. Watch for hyperextension in your knees. If you need, make a small micro bend. And then keeping your collarbones wide, imagine that you're stacking your shoulders over top of one another, creating a strong, long, straight line. You can look up towards the ceiling if it's possible. Triangle. To come out of this posture, you can bring your extended hand reaching towards the ceiling down to your hip. And with your other hand, you can walk it up your leg until you're in standing position. Now we will pivot our feet so that your right leg is now facing the back of your mat, and your left leg, your toes are parallel to the long side of your mat. Extend your arms, chest facing the side wall, and you can bend your right leg into Warrior 2 again, remembering to keep your knee directly over top of your ankle, but not bending further towards your toes. You can take a look down at your knee to see if you can see your big toe. If you can't, just open up your leg. With every inhale, you'll lengthen your spine, and with every exhale, you'll try and sink a little bit deeper into your hips. Gaze going all over top the middle of your finger. Warrior 2. Inhale, and on your exhale, you can bring your right arm down to your right leg. Windmill your left arm so that your bicep is on the long side or alongside your ear. Bring your arm down into your shoulder socket. And again, think of that nice long line from tips of fingers down to the outer edge of your straight foot. Look up and imagine you taking a gentle curve in your spine just to allow your heart to really open in this posture. When you're ready, on your next inhale, bring yourself back into Warrior Two. Straighten your front leg, a half step in with your back leg, back foot at a 45-degree angle. Inhale, reach your arm forward, pull your left hip back, and on your exhale, bring your hand to the floor, your shin, or a block. Again, opening through the shoulders, collarbones wide to create that nice rotation in your thoracic. And if possible, look up towards your hand that's reaching towards the ceiling, triangle. Watching for hyperextension again in the knees. And when you're ready, you can bring your left hand down to your hip, and you can use your right arm to walk your hand up. Now you can pivot your right foot so that it's also facing the long side of your mat. And here you can bring your hands to clasp behind your back. Roll the shoulders down the spine. Nice long, oh thanks. Awesome. And ground down through all four corners of your feet. Take a nice deep inhale, and on your exhale, hinging at the hips, bring yourself into a wide leg standing forward fold. Now you can just allow your arms to fall naturally wherever it is that your shoulders will allow them to, and then just gently you can kind of create a bit of tension by pulling your hands in whatever direction it is that they're pointing. Again, keeping all weight evenly distributed between both feet. So if you're feeling like you're maybe going over your toes, just invite yourself to bring some of that weight back into your heels. Feel your inner thighs squeezing together energetically. And on your next inhale, bring your hands to your hips, and leading with your chest, you can bring yourself back up into a standing position. Heel toe your feet together and step to the top of your mat. Bend your right leg and take a big step towards the back of your mat, keeping your toes on the ground, heel lifted. Inhale, and on your exhale, bend your front standing leg so that your knee is directly over top of your leg. You can bring your knee to the ground if you need to. Just if you have any sensitivity, fold your mat in a little bit so that you have that support. Inhale, raise your arms up towards the ceiling, keeping your ribs tucked. Crescent lunge. Think about hugging your legs towards midline, pressing your front foot strongly down into the ground, and plugging your left hip back and your right hip forward if you need to square your hips. Bring your hands into prayer position and take a nice deep inhale. On your exhale, you can bring your right elbow to come and meet the outside of your left knee. Revolved crescent lunge. If it's in your practice, you can open your arms, rolling your top shoulder back, keeping your collarbones wide. On your next exhale, you can bring your hands back into a prayer position and return to a neutral position, releasing the twist. Now from here, you can, however you can, we're just gonna turn around and do it on the other side. So if you need to stand up and pivot the feet, do so. And if your leg was bent, just bend it again and prepare yourself for crescent lunge on the other side. So taking a nice deep inhale, bending the front leg, bringing your other knee to the ground. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And on your exhale, hands to prayer, turning and bringing your left elbow to meet the outside of your right knee. Revolved crescent lunge. Again, opening the arms if you did so on the other side, just to balance out your postures. Turning your top shoulder towards the ceiling so you can really have a nice open, wide heart, and look up towards your hands. Breathe here. And when you're ready, bring your hands into prayer position and pull yourself back into a neutral spine, stand. And now we will step to the front of your mat. So root firmly through your right foot, taking a small bend at the knee. Lift your left leg, bringing it up towards your chest and cross it over your right leg. Now keep your hands on your hips and gently guide your hips back so that they're squared and facing the front of the room. If you need a block to keep your balance, you can put that underneath your foot that's crossed over your leg. From here, wrap your left arm underneath your right, and you can either hug your shoulders or then wrap your forearms so that your palms are pressing towards one another. Squeeze your legs together as you sit lower into your chair. If you feel your ribs flaring, just activate your core and cinch them in. Inhale, release the posture, lifting your hands up. Give yourself a shake and we'll prepare for the other side. So from here, again, feel strongly rooted in your left foot as you take a small bend, and then lift your right leg and cross it over top of your left, keeping your hands on your hips so that you can gently guide your hips back so that they're square and facing the front of the room if they began to twist and turn. The goal isn't to totally get your feet turned around if you can't keep your hips squared, so just follow your body and where it's guiding you. Cross your right arm underneath your left. Clasp your hands if you can, or hug your shoulders. Lift the elbows and sink down into your eagle pose. Hug all parts to midline. On your next inhale, release the posture, lift your arms up high into the sky, give yourself a little shake. And when you're ready, we'll move into a standing forward fold. So feet hip width distance apart. Grounding down through all four corners, feeling that nice activation from the bottom of your feet all the way up to the top of your head. On your next inhale, raise your arms up towards the ceiling. And on your exhale, hinging at your hips, bring your body all the way down to the floor. Release the neck. Hands to opposite elbows, or you can just keep them on the floor. Micro bend in the knees. To keep your legs activated, imagine as if you were pulling a long pair of socks up your leg, and think about that kind of activation. And instead of trying to get your head to your shins, think about getting your stomach to the tops of your thighs. Inhale, hands to shins, shins into hands, neutral spine. Exhale, release. And inhale, raising your arms and your whole body up. Exhale, Samastitihi.